Hi, and welcome to Purposeful Progress newsletter. I'm Shannon Lövgren. I am here to give you tips and tricks on sustainability, life hacks, and introduce you to a fabulous Changemaker of the week. So let's get into it. Changemakers, the cozy season is upon us. And how do I know that it is upon us? It's because it rained in California, which does not happen very often, but I take it as a clear sign to stay indoors, light a candle, put the fire on, even if it's a fake fire, and make some soup. So if you have not done any of these things, I suggest you do them, at least one of them, immediately. Anywho, the rain shifted something in my body, like the sound of it hitting the roof, like calmed me down from my usual high energy. And the smell of the wet dirt and the leaves on the ground, like made me want to stay indoors and get cozy and warm and dry and not dirty. And I could not ignore that part of me that is still Swedish that was saying, there's no bad weather, only bad clothing. Get out. So I did do that. I threw on some gear because I have the gear and went out for an hour-long walk and got absolutely drenched below my waterproof jacket. And I loved every single minute of it. It felt powerful, it felt wild. And then I came home and I got cozy again, which is the absolute best. So, what is my point with this newsletter? The point is to let the season slow you down. Listen to your body and get cozy, whatever that means for you. So, the sustainability tip of the week is going to be get out in nature. I'm actually in real nature. And it's easier to care about things when you immerse yourself in the environment. And it doesn't matter what area I'm talking about, like the caring about the climate, caring about the environment, the actual environment means you should immerse yourself in nature. But I think it's a life hack that you can, if you want to advocate for something or if you care about something, you need to immerse yourself in it so that you really know it, you really appreciate it. So that's it, my friends, the sustainability tip of the week and the Purposeful Progress newsletter by Changemakers. And now it is my pleasure to introduce the Changemaker of the week, Ruth Ann Barrett. Ruth Ann, tell me about yourself and what you're passionate about.
Well, let's see. As you might guess, I've been around for some time. And I think one of the main passions of my life was to bring, sounds a bit fluffy, but it was basically to bring computation to people's hands. And to put that power of computation in the hands of people to use, for their own personal uses, but also to advance citizenship and being a responsible person in community and building community. And I thought one should have that tool right here in one's hand. And then, Steve Jobs, one beautiful day in San Francisco, introduced the iPhone, and there we go. I felt that I had kept that idea, certainly not the details of it, in my mind. And I worked for tech companies. I went to work. I was living in New York and I returned to California and went to work as head of Hewlett Packard user groups. They actually had them at the time, and became very involved in computer technology and marketing primarily. So I'm very passionate about using marketing to educate people. And in my work, it was in terms of complex ideas like e-commerce. What did that mean to people? It meant a lot to business people. So, and I continue to do that. I have a site, Earthsayers, just Voices of Sustainability. It's in the middle of an upgrade. And basically it's a search engine to sustainability. People. Again, my passion is really to bring forward the voices of people who typically are not covered by the news or, famous, but, hardworking people in community and in organizations who have ideas and passions similar to mine.
Yeah, and that's how you and I became friends, is
Yes,
because we both care about sustainability.
yes, we do.
Yeah.
Change agent, when you first contacted me, um, I thought, oh my, there's somebody that actually says they're a change agent. There were times in my life where to say that was like, maybe suggest that you were this rebel rouser of some extreme, feminist. But as a matter of fact, it's gotten better over the years. And there are some industries where change maker, if you say you're a change maker or talk about change making, you'll be well received. And technology is one of those industries. There are others that I might soft pedal the change making thing, um, certainly until I got inside an organization. And then I prefer to use, depending again, if the organization is somewhat stable and not wanting to change particularly. I'll talk about intrapreneurship, being an entrepreneur within an organization, and that sounds better.
Yeah.
Uh, and it doesn't cause people to get, acne or something because, the thought of change can be pretty
We're gonna break
challenging.
out. Oh no.
Like I've got to look up, but if you're a change maker, you're going to change things
Yeah.
typically, and
Well,
people don't like change.
yeah. Well, that leads me perfectly into the next question for you is how are you a change maker?
Well, I change everything. I'm one of those people that go into an organization. I used to think I would go into an organization and I would like a cup, right, and then I'd sort of like shake it a little bit, and then I pour it out onto the table and take a look, and then start moving pieces and thinking. So I'm not in, I have some really good skills, and one of those is that I like to see how things work. So I'm always asking the question, so how does that work? How does that go? And the thing about business that I liked so much, a little better than the nonprofit, and I've worked in both, is that business, again, you have to be in the right industry. There's some people that are listening to this or reading this and going, oh my God, if I did that, But it just is a very positive thing to ask people how things work. They don't get defensive typically. And that's when you start to see, whoa, why are they doing it that way? And, opening up. So one of the important things about change making and being one and, changing things is that you have to be a collaborator because you don't want to go in there by yourself. There's a Japanese saying about the nail that sticks out gets hammered the most. Well, there's some truth to that. So, I try and counsel people to be positive and figuring out how things work. And then getting people together. So I've changed a lot of things over time. I've changed the way the supply chain works in a couple of places. Um, I am changing things right now by, kind of challenging LinkedIn in terms of providing more leadership development and showing us and allowing video to be more easily used on the platform so that we just did, you and I actually working with two other great people. Um, sponsored a cinema on LinkedIn, and we hope to keep it a nursery cinema. Well, everybody goes, "What are you talking about? What cinema?" And it's like, yeah, cinema on LinkedIn. And it features social and environmental documentaries, which are buried for the most part. I mean, the distribution for that kind of information, very valuable information, is not working too great. So
So I have another question for you.
it's
Sorry to
easy
cut
to
you
change.
off, but what are you working on now? And how can we who are watching or reading the Purposeful Progress newsletter help you achieve your goal?
Well, you can go and follow Earthshare Cinema on LinkedIn, and they'll see that you and I are associated with it. Um, and once Earthshare's, the search engine is up and looking beautiful in its relaunch. And that, by the way, I started that in, I think, 2007. So I've been working on it a long time and finally had the resources to bring it up to snuff and make it really attractive, because I find a lot of the web is has gotten really like catalogs you're looking at all the time, nothing quite inspiring. So I'm also working and with you on this on I kind of jokingly say I'm going to write a blog called the Confessions of a Small-Time Philanthropist, because I am one, and I became one because my dear brother left me in charge of what is called a DAF, a DAF, and that stands for Donor Advised Fund. And what that allows people to do is to put, it's like a tax exempt fund where you put money in instead of paying taxes on it. And then you can administer it like you would a gifting fund or a foundation. So it's a little different situation than just saying, okay, I'm going to so I had to change. Again, philanthropy being what it was, it seemed to me that a lot of the philanthropy, and I'm going to read a quickie definition. We think of a philanthropist as someone who donates big sums of money, the Gates of the world. Yet the word literally means love of humankind. All of us are capable of being philanthropists. And, I truly believe that. And I happen to be given a sum of money that allows me to give grants. I call them gifts because you don't have to apply for them or anything. Uh, Gifts, at the street level. I was a community activist for a while in Portland, Oregon, and individual contributor. I tend to as I've gotten older, be more individual contributor rather than part of an organization. I find it too complicated and tiresome. So I've been able to I built a social network of friends and colleagues, asked them to make recommendations of organizations in their community that they're familiar with that are doing work at the street level around homelessness, food security, safety, housing, of course. And it's worked out very well. And so I've sort of taken a group of 25 people, and now we're all philanthropists, and we're in it together. Um, so I'm advocating, and you and I are going to work on this. One of the problems with DAPs is that the money's not being spent. People are kind of hanging on. I'm assuming they're hanging on because they don't really know how to do a giving strategy. And so we're going to help them with that. Um, if you have a DAF, um, by all means, call us. If you don't have a DAF, call us anyway. And you
Yeah.
want to call Shannon. And
Yeah.
we'll work well with you and uh, sort of better understand this. If you're at the nonprofit level, which I presume some of you are, you also are in the fundraising space, and philanthropy should be really important to you, and understanding the dynamics of that, and know that you can change it. You know, nothing is written in cement yet. So basically, I'm really looking forward to being a bigger influence in terms of philanthropy. But that's basically, it does take a bit of time. So I'm working on that as well as the cinema, and then relaunching the site Earthsayers.
Yeah, earthsayers.com, and then working on creating giving circles and communities of
Yes,
philanthropists to share in the generosity of solving problems that you can and
absolutely.
solving together in community.
Absolutely. And you know what? There's nothing better for your health than generosity.
Mm,
Because Robin Kimmerer, um, a wonderful writer and professor, an Indigenous person, points out that the cycle you want to get into is generosity and reciprocity. So as you give, you get. And it's very healthy. Highly recommended. Even if it's your time. Again, let's remember when I'm talking about it, I'm not talking about you have to have like, 50 million or 50,000 or 5,000. It might be $5.
yeah.
Or it might be you sign up in the community to take on a task, and your time is valuable. So volunteerism is certainly in the category of philanthropy.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Ruth Ann, for sharing this moment with me. And
Hmm.
I will not be the last time you people on Purposeful Progress will hear
Ah,
Ruth
okay.
Ann. We are partners in kindred spirits, and I just appreciate Ruth Ann so much. So thank you for being here, and
Okay.
I wish you a great day. Bye, Changemakers.
Bye.
Thanks for watching the Purposeful Progress newsletter. Hit like and subscribe, tap that bell so you don't miss an episode. And if you want to go deeper, look into my Sustainability for Changemakers course and subscribe to our newsletter. Links are below. And if you would like one-on-one coaching with me, go to shannonlövgren.com. And I will see you next time.